If you are considering moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, congratulations, you are in the right place. Hi, my name is Lexi, and I have lived here in Charlotte, North Carolina for 3 years now. I am so excited to share with you guys every single thing that makes Charlotte a place that I love to call home, and all the things that I kind of wish I knew before I moved here. So that is why we're here today. I'm going to give you as much information in this video as possible. If you guys like it, I will do plenty of more parts here on other socials, all the things. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing that I want to address is all the different areas to live. So if you are moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, you have probably heard of the downtown, which here we call Uptown, and South End. Those are definitely two of the biggest areas where people live if they're between the ages of like new grad, college, to I personally would say late 20s. There's people that fall outside of that category, but I would say that is what majority is. And I would say Uptown gets a little bit above. But anyways, those are your main two areas. Now, when you're moving here, every single person who is educated on this area is going to tell you to live in South End. I was told the same thing, and I chose otherwise. I do not regret my decision. I've never moved, but I'm just going to explain to you kind of both areas. South End has become the new it place to be because it is full of the restaurants and bars and shopping, pretty much everything to do. Whereas the Uptown area, which I've been told before COVID was popping off for the night out scene, and it kind of still was when I moved here back in 2023. But it's definitely fallen off of that game. It is definitely more where people work than play. And that is where, if you're in finance or the business world, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, you're gonna find all those jobs in the city. You're gonna find the football stadium, the basketball stadium, and a lot of like the more scheduled, planned things to do. Like you're gonna make a reservation to go to a rooftop or dinner. It gives you a little bit more of that upscale vibe. And to be honest, it's quieter in Uptown than in South End. I can walk to South End from my apartment. My friends and family really would appreciate that I didn't when I'm going out. I'm not going to say that I don't. No, for me, I'm probably going to call an Uber even if I lived in South End to go places, because it's like $5 and you really can't beat that. The other thing, when we're just talking Uptown versus South End, I like living in Uptown because parking in Uptown is pretty close to impossible. Street parking is 87 cents for a half an hour, I think. And there's minimal street parking. So if you can't find that, you are going into a parking garage. And that will cost you like 15 to 20 bucks for 12 minutes, which is a problem with the Planet Fitness. There's so many things I could tell you. But anyways, in South End, there's plenty of street parking. There's Atherton Mill, which is where like Lululemon, Sephora, Anthropologie, the markets, a lot of those things are. And that's like a huge parking garage. And there's like Chipotle, Cava, there's just so much over there, and it's not hard to access. Really, if you want to go to Chipotle in Uptown, good luck catching a spot. So anyways, those are the two main spots. And like I said, Uptown's going to be a little bit more of your like going out, need a reservation for things to do, like ticket-wise, going to the basketball games, the football games, concerts, the venues. Those are all in Uptown. Where if you go right over the bridge to South End, that's more your freelance, go out and about, walk the rail trail, see people, do things. You really don't need to plan anything in advance. It kind of feels like a little college town. But regardless, those are your two main areas. And if we need to clarify or go more in depth in other videos, I'm just trying to lay the land a little here. So I'm going to use my hands. We go Uptown, South End, and then our newest area up and coming is Loso. And Loso, I feel like, is becoming townhouse city, an apartment city. It's coming. I think it would be great investment, but like if you're going apartment hunting, to be close to South End and not pay the South End prices and have the proximity. We also, when we come back up north towards Uptown, don't like 100% quote my hand placement, so we're going Uptown, South End, Loso. Then we have Plaza Midwood and Noda, I think, is how they're laid out. Regardless, Noda is very much so like the artsy district, and I feel like Plaza Midwood both give like similar vibes because they're both kind of like suburb feeling. You're not going to find a chain really there, maybe a like small North Carolina based chain or something, but definitely more locally owned resource, home cooked meal type vibes, and they're lovely. But those are definitely for people that like really want to be out of the action, because when I'm talking about Uptown being out of the South End action or Loso being out of the South End action, we are right here. Plaza Midwood or NoDa, you are driving in for work, play, activity. Unless you're on the older side, then I would say older side is me at this point almost. Like if you're in your 30s, I'd probably recommend going over there, because especially in like Plaza Midwood, there's bars called like Workman's Friend, are definitely more suited for like 28 to 35-ish. So that's kind of like the easiest way to put the lay of the land, where to live. I hope that wasn't like horribly confusing. I am just in general horribly confusing, but friend to friend, that's just it. And please leave questions in the comments and I will be happy to clarify later on. The next thing that I want to talk about is the social scene, because as someone who previously lived in Dallas, Texas, we did just like not have any of the resources to make friends that they have here. There are literally so many groups and clubs and different things you can get involved with here. The two biggest ones I will say is actually one is called Charlotte Social Club. The other one is called Y Happy Hour. I have no idea why they don't have any affiliation with the YMCA, but they both are really huge. They get like hundreds of people there. Some people show up alone. A lot of people show up with someone, but it really doesn't matter. We truly have made friends going to those things. That is like the number one thing. Follow them on Instagram, see what's going on with them, and get to those events. I promise you will make at least one friend or start seeing familiar faces if you continue to go. If you're not into drinking and things of that nature that are like so crazy, I actually met 3 of my best friends here at Charlotte Girls Who Walk. So I'm like literally shouting out all these clubs because I think they're awesome. But that one does obviously walks, but book clubs and coffee meetups, happy hours as well, movie nights, picnics, like all sorts of girly things. So if that is more your speed, and if you're a girl, sorry boys, that's a great one. For our athletic girls and boys, there is morning miles every Thursday. They just switched locations, so I actually don't know where they are now. And then there's like the Trolley Barn Run Club. There's one at Suffolk Punch, which is kind of between South End and Loso. I can't even explain to you how easy it is to meet people, because the other thing that made Dallas hard for me, a lot of people lived there or like were from there and had their high school friends and their college friends and their this or that. Here I will say there's a lot more like transplant people that I'm like, oh, so why'd you move here? Expecting them to say like family or friends. Most people are like, I just wanted to change and Charlotte sounded fun. So they really are starting from the bottom and looking for friends. And just like, if there's not a club, make one. I haven't seen a single person make a new like Instagram social group and not work out. So I'm telling you. The other thing that I do for fun, actually, we have a lot of country bars here. So I have taken up one in swing dancing. I prefer the swing like partner dances, but it is actually so much fun, which is at Nicchio's and Rose, and they're both in South End, but kind of closer on the Uptown side. Just some things to think about there. This is Mila, my puppy, who I also have gotten since I lived here. I actually did not get her down here. My parents found her in New York. Isn't she just the cutest little fake? Oh, mwah. As far as traffic goes, I personally don't think it's that bad. Living in Dallas, I've seen like New York City level traffic, as well as like Boston and Chicago. Charlotte has a lot of traffic going around it, but I don't feel like Charlotte has a lot of traffic within it. I think the city moves so smoothly. I mean, they've got it down to a science. You can drive through Uptown faster than you can drive through South End. So I personally don't fight with the traffic. If you're going somewhere far, you're going to have to budget your time. But I would definitely just like be mindful of where you're working, where you choose to live, and how you're going to get there, whether it's walking, light rail, driving. Because if you do it right, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. The other thing is there is a lot of pay for parking, but I don't see the towing around here that I saw in Dallas. We do get parking tickets, but they're not that big of a deal. So, I mean, they are, but it's easy to pay the tolls and to park. They have this app called Park Mobile, so you literally just go on your phone and you pay for your parking. Grocery stores and stuff have great parking. I don't feel like we deal with them expecting us to walk. I've never seen someone in there with like a wagon or things that you see in other big cities because people are pretty much only walking from their apartments. It is, I mean, I think people that live on top, I mean, myself included, people is me. I live almost, well, I don't want to tell you where I live. I live almost on top of a grocery store, and I still park and drive there sometimes because there's never not a parking spot. It is so easy. So definitely a really good thing about being in a city like Charlotte. The downside of Charlotte is we definitely don't have the level of shopping that I think people hope going to a city. I'm looking for a big party city. Like I said earlier, we have a lot of country bars. There's really not clubbing or anywhere you're going to go and stay out past 2 a.m. I would say the bars are honestly pretty dead getting closer to 2 a.m. So if you're looking for a big party city, it might not be your vibe. Try to think of other things that might be deal breakers for people. Very pet friendly, very bike, scooter friendly. I didn't mention those as way of transportation, but they definitely are here. It's very clean. I really don't ever see trash. So that's another positive. I don't know. I just love it. I feel very safe here. My guard dog protects me. I actually was on the news for saying how safe I felt here. I love Charlotte. I think it's a great choice. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. If you want me to go deeper on any topics or give like top 10 recommendations for different restaurants, bars, apartments, I'm always here for you guys. Even if you want to know a little bit about Dallas, anything. I love to chit chat and fill y'all in, but that is it for today's video. Like I said, I love you all. And we will see you all next time. Bye guys.